I don't want to sit here and be Mr. Pessimist, but it's hard for me when you go 1-5 on a road trip for me to sit here when you win that one is the last game of the road trip before you head home.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. He's Brian McKeon. We're both lifelong Yankee fans, although my life is a lot longer than Brian's, and we've gone through a lot this season with the Yankees, would you say?
Yeah, a lot of emotional distress that I didn't need.
Yeah. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. By the way, we are now closer to 10,000 subscribers than 9,000 subscribers. So thank you to you guys for subscribing, and thanks to the Yankees for playing like hot buttered blank for the last 2 months now. So thank you, Yankees, for not playing well. We also have a TikTok page. If you're there, follow us at LockedOn_Yankees. On today's show, Major League Baseball is finally catching up to the NBA and NFL. We'll tell you how they're doing that. Should Boone be left behind in Texas? Someone seems to think so. He's going to explain that in segment 2. But first, the Yankees won a game. It's a miracle. They finished the road trip 1-5. And yeah. Ugh. And it was one of those games where it can't be an easy win. Like, they can't have a win where you're comfortable watching the game. You have to sit there waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's how the game felt on Wednesday.
Thankfully, it never dropped on Wednesday, but it felt like it was. And you were sitting there waiting for the game to end as poorly as it possibly could.
Yeah.
I was texting you during the ninth, as it got closer to the ninth inning, watch him bring in Williams here. and you almost, he would have had to have real guts to do that in that situation.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't going to do that. He said he had Doval ready, even though Doval had pitched a number of,
which is weird.
Yeah, but no, Williams was definitely the.
I figured, but I wouldn't put it past this manager either. They win the game. They needed the win. You didn't get exactly what you wanted out of Carlos Rodón. I think he didn't have his ace stuff by any means in this game, and he did get thrown off a lot by some bad calls. He really did not get help by the umpire in this game either.
Oh, the ump was terrible, because the ump also later in the game messed up too. And actually, the Yankees are lucky that they won, and it didn't screw them in the end.
Could have, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, you get a win. A win is a win is a win, as people say. Not the most positive, though. It's hard for me. I don't want to sit here and be Mr. Pessimist, but it's hard for me when you go 1-5 on a road trip for me to sit here when you win that one is the last game of the road trip before you head home, and I got to sit here and throw pom-poms. It's pretty difficult to act with the positive note after that kind of road trip.
Yeah, Rodón, 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 walks, 3 Ks. That's not usual for him. He doesn't usually do more walks than Ks. He's up to 149 strikeouts on the season, and his batting average against is still 192, and that's in the top 5 for pitchers in the AL. So, he's still doing well. And, if they gave out an award for sweatiest Yankee, he would win every time, because
his jersey is a darker shade than everybody's on the team
before
the game starts.
Yeah. Like, he hasn't even thrown an actual pitch. Warm-up pitches, yes, but not an actual pitch. Soaked.
Because he doesn't do the undershirt thing. He's not an undershirt player.
But he's also in air conditioning. The roof was closed. He's in air conditioning. How are you sweating that much? Is he on Wellbutrin?
It is hot in Texas, but it doesn't matter.
When I was on Wellbutrin, I would sweat in air conditioning. I know he's not, but that would happen to me. And it's the most uncomfortable thing in the world, because you feel cold, but you're sweating. It's very strange. Yeah,
you never experienced that before, thankfully.
It's awful. Yeah, I don't recommend.
Yeah, he goes no undershirt under the jersey, which is not a smart move in my opinion, because it just exposes everything. But hey, it's working for him his whole career, so let him go forward with it, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to mention something that I saw in this before we get to the offense. I want to bring up one thing, though, because it happened earlier on in the game. The guy he was going up against, Jack Leiter, who has been really good for the last month or two. Really, I mean, has had tremendous numbers. I think his ERA is like 2.2 in the last 2 months after a slow start to the season. Notice how in the 4th inning here, Bruce Bochy, even though he knew his team had already won the series, was still very focused on winning this game because he knew it would have tied them with the Yankees in the standings for the wild card. And he pulls Jack Leiter in the 4th inning when Leiter wasn't great, but wasn't horrible. He was in and out of trouble and had put 2 runners on. He yanked him in the 4th inning. Didn't care about a young player's feelings. Didn't care about a young player's emotional state getting pulled in the 4th inning. Leiter clearly didn't want to get pulled. You could see the expression on his face was not happy when Bochy came out there.
Yeah.
Didn't care. And I just want to use that as a sign of, hey, guys, that's what a good manager looks like. That's what a manager with guts looks like right there. Yeah, he's got a young player and he's trying to protect the guy. But in that moment, listen, son, it's August. And we're a game and a half out of a wild card spot. And we're trying to make the postseason here. And we've got a roster with Adolis Garcia and Marcus Semien and Corey Seager and Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi. We're trying to get in the postseason because we think we have a chance of winning the World Series. So I don't really care if your feelings are hurt but coming out of this game. Pitch better. And that's basically what Bochy said there. And, you know, it took guts to pull him there in that spot. It's early to pull him there in that spot. He only had like 68 pitches. But he yanked him. Didn't care. And you know what? It almost worked out for the Rangers. Boone should take a note from that.
Yeah. And Hobie Milner came in and retired the next 7 out of 8 after Leiter. And I joked that I didn't think that was a real name.
Yankees have a couple of those in their farm system too. We're definitely used to at some point. So.
Oh yeah, I know. We're getting used to these names that are coming up. But then again, guys 120 years ago when baseball first started, or even more than that, had some interesting
It's funny.
names.
It's like we're going back in a rotation almost, right? We had these crazy names 100 years ago.
Cyclical. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally
but
cyclical.
then you went through the 60s, 70s, and 80s where you got a lot of Johns and Joes and all that kind of stuff. And then now we're right back to guys named Rock.
Yeah. Although we also have the Bradens and the Aidens and the Jadens and the Jackson with X's. Like those are coming.
Yeah, couldn't stop that in the early 2000s.
Yeah, no. So the offense, let's talk about what Volpe and Dominguez did to get everything going once the Rangers went up 1-0. I liked what happened in that inning.
Yeah, I did too. Also, too, the fielding out of those guys was great too. I mean, the Yankees in the field today were unbelievable, which is something that's been rare to say too. They felt a little more focused when it came to that standpoint. Also,
I have to say they were good this series in the field for the most
I'd agree.
part. Yeah.
And the balls, I've seen a lot of people get at Dominguez for the ball in the Monday night game and then the ball in this game too. Both of those balls were hit on the screws right at him. Not exactly the easiest play in the world to make. I'm not sitting here saying that Dominguez is a future Platinum Glove winner out there, but people look for every opportunity imaginable to bash Jason Dominguez when it comes to his fielding, and I don't know why. Especially the ball on Monday night, Stacey. That ball was hit on a missile. It's right at him. It's one of the hardest plays you can make. So I'm not really going to hold him on that one too. But yeah, Volpe's fielding in particular was outstanding in this series.
Yeah. So Jason stole third. Higgy made a bad throw.
Yeah.
He scored on that. Volpe made it to third. And the Yankees went up 2-1 at that point. And then, of course, Texas ties the game because why wouldn't they tie the game? And why would Carlos Rodón have a shutdown inning after that?
Yeah, no, of course not. Not when you take a lead.
But then one of the best moves that Boone made this past week, I have to say, Bochy was a little cute there, taking Leiter out early, putting in Milner and like really going for it. And then he puts in who was it that was pitching? Wait, who was pitching when Goldie hit the home run? Because Goldie is batting .410 against lefties. And when Boone saw the lefty, he started salivating and said, yeah, okay, we're going to put Goldschmidt in here for Wells because Wells isn't going to hit this guy, but let's put Goldschmidt in there. And Goldie hits the home run to put them up. And it ends up being the game-winning hit. And I have to say, that was a great call by Boone to do that. And what a job by Goldschmidt too, to come in, and it's not easy to pinch hit and hit a home run.
Yeah, off of Robert Garcia in that spot.
That's it, Garcia.
Yeah, no, he's been really good with the pinch hit appearances this year too. You know, it's a tough role for Paul Goldschmidt this year. He's had to basically play a platoon pinch hitter at times because he doesn't know when he's going to play on every day. And from all accounts within the clubhouse, he's been there. He's been pumping guys up. He's been asking guys if they're doing all right. It takes a lot out of guys when day by day you're going 0 for 5 and you're losing every single game and it just feels exhausting to come in. So You need a veteran presence like that. And props to Paul Goldschmidt, who got off to a hot start to start the year and kind of been demoted in a sense, not to his fault, but because of the playing options, especially with Ben Rice and once Stanton got back, they haven't had anywhere to play Goldschmidt on a daily basis, and he's still been positive. That was a huge hit for him, though. Huge hit. And huge hit for the Yankees. They needed a win in this game.
Yes, they definitely needed a win. Judge got his first hit since returning off the IL. He's also throwing. He threw from 90 feet. It's going well. I just don't want them to rush him back into the field as much as I know they want him to go back into the field, because you really need Stanton's bat in the lineup.
Well, that's the thing. They might have to rush him back, and I to a fault, I think they're going to.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't want them to, but I think they're going to rush him back. Not to a detriment to Judge's health, but I do think they're going to push the pace a little bit here. If this injury happened in May, I don't think they would. Right. But I think they realize the seriousness of needing Stanton's bat in the lineup right now, especially with how hot Stanton's been. Stacey, I think they're going to inevitably wind up rushing. He's going to come back too early in the field. You just got to sit there, hope and pray that he doesn't hurt himself.
Yeah. So quickly, let's go through the bullpen because they did a great job. Leiter Jr. comes in first. 1 inning, only 8 pitches. Hill, 2/3 of an inning, 10 pitches. De Los Santos, 2/3 of an inning, 14 pitches. And then Bednar. What a job by him. Boone actually asked him if he wanted to come out, and Bednar's like, no, I got this. Let's just go. Let's win this and let's do it. And he did, because he got screwed in that at bat.
Yeah.
Against Corey Seager. Corey Seager, that was a strike. And I know, Rice.
It was a really good at bat from Seager, though.
Yes.
To work to 3-0, to work it back, foul up a couple off. I mean, that guy should be a Yankee. Go on.
I know, it's so annoying watching him. But I liked how fired up Bednar was when they won that game. Because
he was very fired up.
Jack Curry joked on the post game. He's like, that might have been the most important game Bednar's played in his career so far.
It is. Not might have. It definitely is. Yeah, I know it's a joke what he's saying, but yeah, he's played on the Pirates his whole career. He was absolutely unbelievably fired up. And I'm going to be honest with you, I heard someone else make this point, so I'm not going to take full credit for it, but a guy like Bednar, every team kind of needs. And I'm not trying to I don't know, describe a guy's personality based on his body, but you can kind of get a reference of who he is as a person. He's a huskier fellow with a big beard who has this don't give a bleep attitude. And you kind of need one of those crazy dudes to pitch in a postseason game. To pitch, that is the kind of guy who, if Boone says, hey, I need you to throw 45 pitches and get a 5-out save, he's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
You need one of those guys on your roster. And I'm not trying to shame the guy, because I think he loves the guy that he is, but you need one of those just husky, bearded, don't give a bleep guys on your roster. And that's what David Bednar is. You can tell by the way he talks in the post game and the way he carries himself, the way he dresses, the fact that last year at Pittsburgh Steelers games, he's out there tailgating with fans. That's the kind of guy you need on your roster. So I like a pitcher like that, and I like that you can trust a pitcher like that. I don't love Boone walking out there and Bednar, who's been on the team for a week, being able to tell him, no, I'm staying in the game. That's a little odd to me. But you know what? The personality's there. Boone trusts him for whatever reason. So I also don't think Boone really had much else place to go in that spot. But you know what? They got out of it. They won the game. That's all that matters. Yeah,
I think Boone really went out there and asked him, are you okay? Can you do this? And he's like, I got this guy.
He said in the post game, though, Boone said he was walking out there to take him out of the game. And Bednar said, no, I'm staying in. Which to me is a little, again, the guy's been on the team for a week. I don't know how you trust him at that level yet, but it worked. I guess Bednar's got a track record, so you're going to trust that track record. Again, doesn't have a track record pitching in big spots. So, just a little bit of a weird tidbit, but we'll add to that in the next segment.
All right, so the Yankees are 31-6 when allowing 2 runs or fewer. So try not to give up more than 2 runs a game, guys. How about that? That'll help you.
That strategy's worked for centuries in baseball.
Winning games again. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out the lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, Aaron Boone should stay in Texas. Brian's going to tell you why next.
We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. And that's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Are you tired of the endless scrolling, just trying to find the best deal possible? Well, Gametime Zone Deals pick the best seats in every section for you. And you ever wonder what your view will actually look like before you buy the tickets? The app shows you a panoramic seat view, so there are no surprises. With Gametime, the price you see is the price you pay. There are no hidden fees. Worried about what happens if plans change? The Gametime guarantee has your back with cancellation, protection, and more. So take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
So if you're watching or listening to this on time, it is Thursday, which means the deadline for Fan Mail Friday is later on Thursday. If you are a YouTube viewer and you are not an insider, this is how you leave questions for Fan Mail Friday. You go to our YouTube channel's page, you click on posts, and you will see the latest post where I tell you that the deadline is 5 p.m. Thursday, Eastern Daylight Time. So get those questions in while you can.
I wanted to discuss this because it feels like a weird thing going on around Yankee land, and it definitely comes from ownership. The Yankees haven't changed a manager in season in well over 30 years, and that doesn't need to be a thing that doesn't happen. Now, I'm not saying go back to the days of Billy Martin, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We're not asking for that, but the idea that they can't move on from Aaron Boone because they foolishly gave him a contract extension after last season should not be an excuse to stop them from letting go of him mid-year. And again, I know this is weird from some of you hearing this after a win. They still went 1-5 on the road trip, which is disgraceful, following a trade deadline where everybody felt great after the trade deadline. Am I wrong? Everybody loved that trade deadline. Everyone felt awesome, and then they proceeded to not win until a week later. I just have a hard time sitting here and thinking that they won't get a spark out of changing a manager. Now, it's getting a little late because we're already in August, but it still is possible. There's still 50-something games left, or less, just about 50 games left. Just a couple scenarios. 2022, the Phillies started off 22-29 with Joe Girardi. Remember that one? Rob Thompson comes in, they win the pennant. And if you're going to say the Phillies had a really talented roster that year, they did, but they also had Bryce Harper out for the first 2 months of the year. And they were still able to follow it up with winning the pennant that year. And that team is still riding high on that managerial change years later. The Orioles, Brandon Hyde changed them this year earlier. Rockies, Bud Black, Pirates, Derek Shelton. They've changed all of those managers this year. And Stacey, all of those teams, except for the Rockies, have better records than the Yankees since their managerial changes. So consider that one. Not really a good stat for the Yankees to be a part of. 2022, also the Blue Jays fired Charlie Montoya. They brought in John Schneider. They wound up making the playoffs that year. They fired him on June 12th, so a lot closer into the season. And they're still riding high on the John Schneider. They still haven't moved on from him. He's still the manager of the Blue Jays. He's still managing pretty well, and they're on their way to a playoff spot this year and probably a division title. I don't understand why this narrative has been brought in that the Yankees, they just don't do that. And for some reason, it reminds the organization of an unhinged era of the franchise when they were changing managers constantly. So therefore, they'll never do it ever again. It is called for in spots, and I'm sorry, this year has been the spot.
Yeah, they went from one extreme to the other, where, the joke about Billy Martin was how many times George fired and rehired him.
It's the truth,
how many times, there were World Series winning years where they changed managers.
Yeah, it was 5 times in Billy Martin's career. 5 times that he was fired and rehired. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's the way that it should go. And I'm not saying that you should look to fire managers mid-season all the time anyway, but you can't deny that it brings a spark to a baseball team. It does. It does. It just changes things up. There's a new voice in town. And sometimes that alone is enough of what you need. It's just a new voice. And I can't sit here constantly, Stacey, and have to hear that Oh, well, that's not what we're going to do because that's just not what we do. All right, well, then maybe you need to change things up because they haven't won a World Series in 16 years now.
Yeah.
Like maybe it is time to change things up. It is time to change the way you do things. I know they gave him a contract extension, but this is a team that ate the last 4 years of Aaron Hicks' contract. And they're not, it's way more money than Aaron Boone is owed. So I don't want to hear that they can't eat the remainder of Aaron Boone's contract because that's not what we do. We let guys ride their contracts out. Well, you didn't let Aaron Hicks do that. I mean, there's plenty of guys you didn't let do that over the last couple of years. So why is it necessary? They didn't let A-Rod do that. So Aaron Boone gets that. Yeah, Aaron Boone gets that carte blanche. I don't get it.
Yeah, it is. It's really odd. There were so many opportunities. There were a few opportunities where they could have fired Boone and it would have been perfectly fine. And then they extend him. And you're thinking to yourself, why? But I'll say it right away. I was not happy when they hired Aaron Boone. I didn't want Aaron Boone as the manager because he was a first-time manager. I didn't care about all the years in baseball. He didn't manage on any level. I didn't want him. I didn't think that he was good enough to manage the Yankees. I still don't think he's good enough to manage the Yankees. And yes, he lucked into the ALCS appearance in 2019. I still don't know how that team did what they did with all the injuries that they had, that they ended up winning 103 games and they made it into the ALCS and they made it to 6 games in. There were other appearances. Last year, they lucked into the World Series, and then you saw how that went. Because I always joked, my biggest joke was they're never winning with Aaron Boone as the manager, no matter who's on the team, because he will find a way to screw things up. And boy, did he screw things up in the World Series in 2024. Like one of the biggest blunders to ever happen to the Yankees. And this even counts the 2004 ALCS with Torrey going to his premier bullpen guys when they were up 19-8. This was even worse, bringing Nestor Cortez into a game when he hadn't pitched in a month. What were you and he's not normally the type of pitcher who comes in that situation. And you have Tim Hill literally right there. So I've been saying it for the last few days. I don't understand how ownership and the front office, how anyone in the higher echelon of the Yankees can accept this right now. I don't understand how they can accept this right now. They, in the first 2 months of the year, were playing at a 600 clip. They're playing at, what was it? It was like 480 something.
So
under 500, right? Just absolutely awful. This happens every year. The summers are not fun for Yankee fans. And
this one's elongated though.
Yeah, this is longer than usual. It's not just Boone. It's I want to say, is it lackadaisical attitude? But it's just
yeah, I'd agree. It's the relaxation that everyone feels. It's the country club atmosphere. That's the problem.
It's not even that. It's like, I really don't understand why this is acceptable. Like, why isn't Jennifer Steinbrenner saying something to her brother, being like, what is this? This is not, Dad would not want this. We don't have to go back to what George was, but there has to be some sort of.
Well, that's why I said I hate the what would George do kind of stuff, because we're not asking for that.
No,
like real Yankee fans are not asking to return.
We're asking for something in the middle between Hal and George, because Hal is way too passive.
Yeah,
way too passive.
No one's
to
asking
allow
for
this to happen. I said it yesterday. You are the New York Yankees. There is no excuse for this. This is so embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I know they won a game today, but they're facing the Astros this weekend. Do you think they're going to do well against the Astros with the way they've been playing for the past 2 months?
No, they're going to get clubbed.
They're going to get clobbered.
Yeah, and we, no one's asking for firing managers mid-season. No one's asking for trading all your top prospects for rentals. No one's asking for that. But we're asking for something somewhat close to in the middle, and we're getting none of that at all. It's I don't know how ownership doesn't see this and think to just to spark something. They're not even willing to spark anything.
No,
they just sit here and accept it. I am truly looking forward to Fan Mail Friday tomorrow, because I'm looking forward to seeing how our fans look at this, because we got some negative comments and questions on Fan Mail Friday last week with the way they were playing, and that was after a really good deadline. They've gone 1-5 since then.
After a good deadline and after a good series against the Rays.
Exactly. So I'd love to see what some people have to say.
Yeah. All right, coming up, I forgot about this at the top, but we're going to tell you about some minor league players who won Pitcher of the Month and Player of the Month in the Yankees farm system, and we're going to tell you some news around the league next.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Now, preseason is already heating up, and college football isn't that far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before week 1 kicks off. And whether you've got your eye on the big-name quarterbacks breaking out or running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in on the game. Now, I know I'm going to be all over guys, up over-unders all year. I'm going to be all over passing, yardage, rushing. It's all available, and it's all available on PrizePicks. Now, I've used PrizePicks for a few seasons now, and I love how simple it is. I can get a lineup in before my coffee finishes brewing. Preseason picks helps me get a feel for how the year could go, and it's like a fun warm-up for the full season. The flex pay option is a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you still doubled your money. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, run your game. And not only do we cover your team every day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. You can check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman, and it appears right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. It's also streaming on our YouTube channel. You can get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast.
So some good news while we're here. Spencer Jones won Player of the Month for Somerset. He batted .419. He led the league in average with .419. He had 11 home runs. His on-base percentage was .477. His slugging percentage was .946, which worked out to an OPS of .1423. He was second in runs with 25, in total bases with 70. He was third in hits with 31. He had 23 runs batted in. He had 10 multi-hit games, including 2 consecutive 4-hit games, July 19th and 20th, which I believe we reported on minors, our trek through the minors on a Tuesday that following week.
Yeah, he's been great. Wonderful.
Okay, so the next one, pitcher, Carlos. Is it Lagrange or is it Lagrange? Because
I'm going Lagrange. I'm going Lagrange. ZZ Top, classic rock fan. I'm going Lagrange.
Okay, because Bob Lorenz was pronouncing it the latter on yes, and I wasn't sure if that, because I don't think I've ever really heard his name said, so I didn't want to get it wrong, but okay. So
I've heard of him, but I've also heard other Yankee podcasts call it Lagrange too, so I'm going to go with that until instructed otherwise.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't mean they're right, but okay. I'm just worried because I have a last name that people look at and they're like, what is that?
You know what? Carlos is pitching well enough to not care how we pronounce his name at this point.
That's a good point. He won Pitcher of the Month for Somerset. So Somerset had Pitcher of the Month and Player of the Month for July. Pretty good. 2-0 with a 1.27 ERA in 4 appearances, 3 starts. He allowed 3 earned runs on 7 hits with 11 walks while striking out 31 in 21 and 1/3 innings. He led the league in batting average against, only 101. That's
really good.
Pretty amazing. And strikeouts per 9 innings, 13.08. He was second in ERA with that 1.27, and hits allowed per 9 innings with 3.68. So good job by him. And then
the number that makes the Yankees salivate is the Ks per 9 being 13.08.
Yeah.
Yankees love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff from a pitcher. Yeah. And Kyle Carr won Pitcher of the Month for Hudson Valley. He went 2-0 with a 0.37 ERA in 4 starts. He allowed 1 earned run on 15 hits, 6 walks over 24 and 1/3 innings. He struck out 26. He led the league in that ERA, obviously, because 0.37 is really low. He was third in batting average against at 1.76. He allowed 5.55 hits per 9 innings, and he was 4th in strikeouts per 9 at a 9.62.
That's an alarmingly low ERA the numbers are good, but they're not earth-shattering good. I mean, 176 is a fairly high average for an ERA that low. 5.55 hits per 9 is that's a impressive in and out of trouble kind of line there.
Yeah. So good job by those guys, and way to represent the Yankees farm system for the month of July.
Especially after trading away a lot of the farm system. That's a pretty good sign.
Yeah, so in exciting news around the league, Jen Paywall is set to become the first woman to umpire a game in Major League Baseball. She'll be working games this weekend between the Miami Marlins and Atlanta Braves, and she will end up behind the plate on Sunday, from what I read. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, leave it to Major League Baseball to finally let a woman umpire a game before they go to robot umpires.
Exactly. MLB's move comes 28 years after the gender barrier for game officials was broken in the NBA, 10 years after it ended in the NFL, and 3 years after the Men's Soccer World Cup employed a female referee. So,
remember when this was a big
usual,
deal? Remember when this was a big deal when the NBA went to it and everyone was freaking out of how could you allow a woman to ref the game and everything like that? And now you don't even realize when there's a female referee on the court. It's not the female referees are better than the male referees. You have the players respect them more. Except baseball decided that women still can't umpire games until it's the middle of the season in 2025, and we're going to use a Marlins Braves game, two teams that are completely out of the game, and we're going to robot umpires next year. Good job, baseball.
Yeah, she worked spring training games in 2024, and as you say, I mean, I guess it's better late than never.
Sure, but we had a female GM prior, so
yeah. That's true.
Not happy. Another stupid moves that annoy me, because I'm annoyed at baseball, not at female umpires. I wish they would have female umpires way beforehand. Roman Anthony, 8 years, $130 million extension with the Red Sox. I don't at all understand this from a Red Sox perspective. I don't get it from. I guess the Red Sox buying out his arbitration is a good thing. He hasn't played a lot of games yet. But I'm going to be honest with you, Stacey. If you're Roman Anthony, you should fire your agent immediately. What is this deal? $16 million per year. He's projected to be a top 10 player in the sport. This season through his age 30 season.
I was going to say, how old is he? Okay.
I'm confused. He's 22 years old. He's been playing on the Major League roster. He's playing really well. Again, in 2 years, he's projected to be a top 10 player in the sport where he can make with the salaries going up, he can make upwards of $40 million a year. Why would you sign this deal?
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. Like, I can't even rationalize it in my head. $16 million a year for a player like this. It annoys me because the Red Sox are getting a player like this at a bargain, but I don't understand it at all.
Yeah. And that's another, it's almost like a strike against the Red Sox in a way. Because they're saving themselves from spending more money on him, I guess, right? Yeah. In the future. So, I don't know.
They're buying out his arbitration years, and he gets 4 more years on top of it. I get the long-term security thing, but I don't get it at all. I from a Roman Anthony perspective, why would you? I know there's escalators in there where he can get it up to like $230 million. But Stacey, when he becomes a free agent at 28 years old, or no, it would have been 26 years old, he would have gotten $400 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand at all why he would sign this. It makes I was this close to messaging Gabby from Locked On Red Sox and be like, what do they do? Like, what is the rationalization here?
Yeah.
I don't get it from a team perspective. I don't understand what, and Roman Anthony's perspective, these guys got to stop listening to their agents sometimes. Acuna did it. You saw Ozzy Albies do it. These guys sign these deals, and then you look at Acuna years later is playing for like $10 million a year. I don't get it, Stacey. So weird stuff. I don't understand it. And as a Yankee fan, not a great thing because they're paying him way less money than he deserves.
Yeah. This is the poor Rockies on Wednesday. They were up 1-0 on the Blue Jays after the bottom of the first. The Blue Jays ended up winning the game 20-1.
I mean, this is a bad baseball team.
They outscored the Rockies in this series 45-6. That is
so bad.
That is bad. And speaking of bad, no one's mentioning this because the Yankees have been so bad, but the Mets haven't been great lately either.
No, they've been terrible.
And on Wednesday, they were no hit into the 9th inning. And the thing that broke it up was a Juan Soto solo shot against the Guardians' Gavin Williams. And Gavin Williams ended up getting the second out, and then he was taken out because he was up to 126 pitches in 2025. That's a lot of pitches.
We haven't seen a pitcher approach that many pitches it's got to be years now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, crazy stuff. The Mets, you're right. They're getting a pass lately because of how bad the Yankees have been, but the Mets have been brutal.
And on that note, by the way, if this was a Mets town, the Mets would be dominating the back pages for being so bad, not the Yankees. So There you go. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And when we say every night, we mean 7 nights a week, including Sundays when Brian hosts the show. So tune in when you can. So that'll do it for this episode of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.